And how do those private hearings actually work? Could you explain that to me a little bit more?
Well, the overall point is that the person who's conducting the hearing, whether it's a judge in the court process or the practitioner in the private process, has no power to reach a binding solution which the parties are bound by as with a final court order. The purpose of the hearing is to try to facilitate a settlement. So the judge or the practitioner at the private hearing makes suggestions as to what would be likely to happen if the matter were to go to a final hearing, and this process is sometimes called early neutral evaluation. And so the idea is to produce a settlement, and of course that is the best outcome, because if the parties can agree, that's an outcome which they're both going to be at least relatively happy with.
And what are the advantages of using private hearings over the court process?
Well, the court system has proved to be very successful, but it does have disadvantages. And one disadvantage is that you can only have the hearing at the appropriate stage in the court process, and that's quite a long way into the court process after quite significant costs have already been incurred. And you may have to wait a long time, sometimes many months, to get the hearing. Also, I'm sorry to say, I wish it weren't like this, but experience shows that the judges who deal with these hearings are sometimes so overloaded that they don't have a proper chance to read the papers, so they're simply not in a position to give the evaluation, which is what they're there for. So the advantage of a private hearing is that it can be done at any stage of the proceedings, or it can be done before proceedings have actually been started. And you choose your evaluator, so you know who you're going to get, and you know that the evaluator will have had the papers in good time to read them, and so will be in a position to give a good indication of what the outcome would be likely to be if the matter were to go for a final hearing.
How successful would you say that private hearings actually are?
Well, it's difficult to say because there are no statistics which are collected, but anecdotally it does seem that they are very successful indeed.
If parties to a private hearing do actually reach an agreement, to what extent is that agreement binding?
Well, if they do reach an agreement, that is normally binding. It's very hard indeed for either of the parties to escape from an agreement which has been reached either at a court FDR or at a private hearing. That, for all practical purposes, is it.